In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a bookshelf. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, you wouldn't have your floor drawn already, so I'm just going to erase this area here because this is where I'm going to put mine. Okay, so I'll place it right here. The first thing you're going to do is decide how far out you want it. Okay, so you always want to start with the horizontals and the verticals. So I know it's right up against the wall here. Okay, this is how tall it is. I'm deciding right now how tall it's going to be. Okay, so this is the side here. It's not going to be see-through, I know that, so I'm going to erase this part here. Okay, now I'm deciding how wide I want it to be. Okay, how wide will my shelves be? I'm going to make it this wide. And then I'm going to, so this line went to the vanishing point. Okay, and now I'm going back up with a vertical. Okay, and from here to here, I'm going to connect them with a convergence line that lines up with the vanishing point. Okay, so this gets erased. I'm not going to see the floor. This is getting erased. Okay, I do actually want to see this part of the, where the wall is meeting the floor because I know that my shelf is right up to the wall. So this is actually how deep my shelves are going to be. So I'm going to come here in this corner and I'm going to make a horizontal line. And it is going, this is the floorboard. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to make a horizontal line that stops at the wall. Okay, because I know obviously the shelf can't be any further than that. Okay, where those two are meeting, I'm going to go up with a vertical line. Okay, this is what it would look like if there were no shelves on it. We obviously want shelves on ours. Okay, we also want it to be 3D, so I'm going to put a frame around it. And I'm just mimicking the shape of it with a thin line, and it's getting a little bit skinnier as it gets further away. Did not get skinnier. I have to redo that. Okay, and up here, it's just a convergence line. Okay, so I'm just being a little extra and making sure that it does look like a 3D object. So, and all of our shelves are also going to have that same little 3D portion to it. So let's figure out how far apart our shelves are going to be. Okay, what I should have done is I should have, okay, it's about 10.5. I'm sorry, 4 to 10.5, so that's 6.5 inches. I'm going to go, what I was going to say is I should have made it an even measurement. If I go 4 to 10, that's 6 inches, and I could go every 2 inches. Let's do that. I'm going to bring it down to the 10. All right, so I'm just chopping the top off. If you don't, I could have done more math and just left that extra 1/2 inch, but it's easier to just go by a whole number. So that's why I did that. All right, so let's go by a whole number. So it's 6 inches. So So if I start at the 0, it stops at the 6. So I'm gonna go every 1.5 inches, and I'm gonna put a little mark, and that's where a shelf is gonna be. Okay, so at the 1.5, 3, and 4.5 lines, I put a little mark. Those are going to be my shelves. So the first thing I'm going to do, okay, I'm gonna line up with the vanishing point. Okay, and I wanna do a double line. So I'm just a 1/16 away. Okay, just a little 1/16. You're gonna put another line. So it's not paper thin, so that it makes sense. Okay, this is getting erased. Then I'm gonna take a horizontal line right here, and it's gonna stop at that vertical, okay? It can't go any deeper. This part of the vertical gets erased. It's easier to erase it now. And then you're taking this and you're lining it up with the vanishing point. Okay, so now I have one shelf. Doesn't that look cool? All right, so now I'm gonna do my next one. Okay, I'm lining up at the vanishing point. I'm drawing a convergence line. Okay, I'm gonna mark a 1/16, just one little dash, and I'm gonna draw another line just to make sure my shelf is not paper thin, so it looks like a real shelf. I'm lining up at my vanishing point, and I'm drawing another convergence line. Okay, now I'm taking, see this little vertical here? That tiny little vertical gets erased. Okay, then I'm taking this right here, and I'm drawing a horizontal until I stop at this vertical here. Erase. Okay, right here, I'm gonna line up with the vanishing point, and I'm gonna finish my shelf. Okay, so now I have 2 shelves. Let's do my last shelf here. I'm gonna line up with the vanishing point. Okay, this one is all very close to the vanishing point, so you might not see too much of the 3D part, like the shelf that it sits on. So let's see what happens. So I'm drawing that. It almost looks like a horizontal. Okay, I'm marking off a 1/16. I'm going back to the vanishing point. Okay, you're actually going to see, sometimes you see underneath it, but not with this one. Up here, you're gonna see underneath it. Okay, you're gonna see a tiny, tiny sliver. You're not even gonna see it. You're really not gonna see it at all. You're just gonna see the front, these 2 lines here. Okay, but this is what I mean by sometimes you're gonna see underneath it. We have this corner here. You're gonna draw a horizontal line, okay, until you hit the vertical. You're going to erase this, and this gets lined up with the vanishing point. Okay, and that is what your shelf will look like. Then you could put books on it, vases, picture frames, whatever you would like to put on your bookshelf. If it's a toy room, you could put toys on it, whatever you like.